What's up guys? Today I want to talk to you guys about gun settings. So for the most part, setting up your gun is fairly simple. You only have 3 settings to choose from. So right here on your gun, you have 3 settings to choose from. You have your fluid output, your fan adjustment, and your air adjustment. Now ironically enough, I have a digital gun, but because of having to change the battery constantly and eventually it became a little cattywampus, I decided to just go with an analog pressure gauge. Okay, now when setting up your gun, what you want to do is you want to open this needle cap up. You open it all the way. Open it all the way till it pops out, right? If it pops out, it's fine, because what we want to do is we want to get a starting point of where it's all the way open. Okay, now there is all the way open right there. This little knob right here, this is just to lock it in once you're done adjusting it. Now, for the most part, the most common adjustment will be 3.5 open. That's 3.5. Now, some people open it like I just did till it pops out, right? But what I like to do is I close it in all the way. I close it till there's nothing able to close anymore. All the way closed. See that? That's all the way closed. There's nothing that's gonna come out of there. No material will come out of there. So that's the way I started off. Now, if you notice on my gun, I wonder if the camera is gonna pick this up. There's a little kind of a dial right here that tells you where your starting point is, right? So from here, it's all the way up, right? That way, when you rotate it clockwise, you know where you're gonna stop as you have one whole revolution going around with the needle. My adjustment might be different to your adjustment. So if you want a starting point, I can suggest 3.5 open. That's 3.5 out. Like if you're starting closed all the way and you come back 3.5 by turning counterclockwise till you reach that point. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So let's do that for you to see what I mean. I'm gonna open it up 3.5. Trying to catch the light. Okay. You see that indicator right there? I'm gonna open it up 3.5. So I'm gonna count. 1, 2, 3, and then 1/2 is gonna be when it's pointing down right here. So that's 3.5. That's where I like to keep my adjustment. That is a good starting point for anybody that's setting up a gun and starting to paint. This is gonna give me medium to wet coats on my base coat. And I've already sprayed with my gun for years, so I have it adjusted just the way I need it to be, especially because I do use my gun for base coat and clear coat. And I understand that in this adjustment and this setting that I have it in, it works perfectly fine. I get everything I need out of it. The viscosity of my base coat is very well adjusted already, that when I base coat, it gives me perfect medium to wet coats. Now, another thing you want to consider is a pressure gauge. You want to have a pressure gauge on your gun because you want to be able to keep an eye on how your air fluctuates when you're disconnecting and connecting the gun. This is going to be a big indicator of how your paint work comes out. You want it to be consistent with your paint every time, and this pressure gauge is going to help with consistency. I always keep my gun at 20 psi when spraying base coat. That's my setting for base coat. Okay, let's spray some base coat on this bumper and show you what I mean. And remember, I have videos on how to base coat. Go check those out if you're not too sure on how to base coat. Now, as far as fan adjustment goes, which is this knob right here that opens and closes how wide open the fan of your spray is and how closed it might be, this rarely gets adjusted. You almost never have to worry about fan adjustment. Now, I do make a slight adjustment when I'm gonna spray clear, and that's when I close it up at least 1/4 of an inch. I close it just a little bit, just for the clear. Get a little bit tighter on the fan. That way it sprays my clear on a little bit wetter and a little bit smoother without causing any dryness in the clear or possibly runs. Now, I want to mention something because just to cover all the bases, I want to make sure I make something clear to everybody. Not every adjustment is made in stone. My gun's adjustments might not work for another gun's adjustments. Now, my gun is a Sata Jet 4000. They don't even make this gun anymore. But this is a good starting point for you guys out there that might want to know what way I keep my gun settings for you to start your gun settings. Now, you're gonna wanna make adjustments on your gun settings. Now, I always make more adjustments on my air than what I do on my fan or my fluid. I have my gun set, I've been using it like this for years. Now, when you're spraying your gun, remember, if your gun is spraying a little dry, that means you need to open up your needle a little bit more, take it back some more. So if your gun is spraying too much, just close it up a little bit. So that's about it. It's as simple as that. It's not real science, it's not real difficult. All you wanna do is keep an eye on how it's spraying. Once you start spraying, every day consistently that you use it, you're gonna make the adjustments that you need that will work for your gun. Okay, so for the most part, like I said before, when I clear is the only time I make any adjustments to my fan. Now, I only close it like 1/4 of an inch. Just enough so that the fan closes a little bit so that it applies my clear nice and smooth and no dryness or runs. This helps the clear lay down just a little bit wetter and smoother. That's the only time I make a fan adjustment on my gun. Besides that, all my other settings always stay the same. That's it. Oh, yes. And when I adjust my pressure, so when I base coat, I keep my pressure at 20 PSIs. When I clear, I put my pressure at 30 PSIs. That's my clear setting. Now, that's only for the first coat that I do that. So I have a video that covers how I clear. I'll link it right here so you guys can check that video out on how I clear and how I keep my gun settings when I clear. So you guys can check that out too. I'm gonna cover it real quick right now because we're already in this video, but if you want, check that video out too. First coat of clear, 30 PSIs, and I move quickly. Now my second coat of clear, I bring my pressure down just a little bit. I bring it down to 25 PSI. So keep that in mind. I bring it down to 25 PSI and I move a little bit slower. Well guys, that's it for me for today. If this video was helpful, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if there's anything that I missed that I didn't cover on this video that you guys would like to see, just hit me up on the comment section and let me know. But other than that, it's just as simple as that. I hope this video was helpful, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Bye.